Aespa might be one of the most fascinating groups to talk about right now, because depending on who you ask, they're either at the top of their game or have completely lost the plot. After a massive 2024 that gave us songs like Supernova and Armageddon, their more recent releases left a lot of fans divided. Some people loved the new direction, others felt like something was missing, and if you've watched this channel before, you'll know I definitely fell in that second camp. So when Lemonade was announced, I'll be honest, I was nervous. Not because I don't like Aespa, but because I do. When they're firing on all cylinders, they're one of my favorite groups in the industry. The problem is that their last few releases just weren't connecting with me the way they used to. But after sitting with this album for a few weeks, reading through the lyrics, and spending an unhealthy amount of time listening to it on my commute, we have to ask ourselves, did Aespa make Lemonade? Hey guys, welcome back to Summers with Wayde. I hope you're doing well and that it's not too hot where you're at. For me, I am quite literally sweating as I'm recording this, so I'm really sorry for the uncomfortable visual. Like I already mentioned, today we're going to be talking about Aespa's second studio album, Lemonade. So grab a nice refreshing glass and let's get into it. Whole Different Animal, featuring G-Dragon. We opened the album with their pre-release single, Whole Different Animal, an unapologetic hip-hop dance track about artistic growth, self-confidence, and defying industry expectations. The song declares that the group has evolved into an entirely new, elevated version of themselves, aka an untamable whole different animal. Rather than backing down from pressure or critics, the lyrics describe Aespa proudly embracing their hard times and using them as fuel to dominate the competition, with Ningning saying in the first verse, "My scars so glorious," and "Embrace the danger, kiss kiss the pressure." The primary message, belted out, proclaims their uniqueness and refusal to conform to standard pop molds. G-Dragon steps into the track's third verse, bringing a sharp, charismatic rap delivery that matches the group's rebellious aura. The backbone of the entire track is an aggressive, buzzing synth line that provides a constant, twitchy momentum. Sonically, the song is fundamentally a hip-hop dance track characterized by a gritty, electronic-heavy instrumental with a bratty, almost confrontational vibe. The song continues Aespa's sonic evolution, stepping further into their signature, charismatic talk singing and heavy-hitting rap delivery. Personally, I went into the song scared. Actually, I went into the whole album like that. Their previous releases haven't been my favorites, so I was afraid this one would follow suit. Add to that, I'm not a big fan of G-Dragon's usual delivery and tone, so the song had a lot of convincing to do. But to my surprise, it did. I actually really enjoyed the song, including his verse. Is it my favorite section of the song? No. Are there parts that also became a little annoying? Yes. But at the same time, it feels like a distant relative to Armageddon. Not because they're sonically similar, but because of their function on the album. A darker, more moody counterpart to the album's brighter single. My favorite part was definitely the outro. I really enjoyed the vocalization they did as pieces of the chorus played in the background. Overall, a very solid album opener. Lemonade. Continuing on, we have our title track, Lemonade, an empowering electronic dance anthem focused on resilience, confidence, and transforming negativity into power. Gee, I wonder what they'll use to convey this. The song takes the traditional Western proverb, "When life gives you lemons, make lemonade," and flips it with Aespa's signature hip and refreshing attitude, treating setbacks as fuel for success. Who could have seen that coming? In all seriousness, the song directly addresses public criticism, industry pressure, and drama. Instead of letting outside noise affect them, Aespa declares that they will, quote, grind those toxic situations up and consume them coolly, either as lemonade or, quote, like a piece of cake. The central hook includes lines like, "I take my karma straight, I'll make it lemonade," highlighting their willingness to accept whatever challenges or consequences come their way and deal with them directly rather than running away. The song is built on a massive aggressive synth bass line and an addictive club beat tempo. Rather than leaning into gentle melodies, the members use sassy, attitude-heavy talk singing and bold vocal harmonies to deliver their message of self-assurance. For me, this song is a massive improvement from some of their previous releases. I haven't really been shy about my dislike of Dirty Work and Rich Man. It's even gotten me some heat in my real life, so this feels just as refreshing as the title would suggest. In my opinion, it feels like a return to form of sorts. Similarly to my comparison of Whole Different Animal to Armageddon, this song feels spiritually tied to Supernova. Again, it's more of a vibe and album function thing. Truthfully, this song has been stuck in my head for days. I usually give myself at least 2 weeks with a project to really sink my teeth into it, but this song from my first listen just stuck with me. I'll also take this moment to talk about the version featuring Becky G because the main change is her section. She kicks off her verse by stating, quote, "Big BG, the B is for business, speak my name, I'm charging you interest." She frames her career and name as a high value commodity, warning critics and onlookers that her time and brand come at a premium. Her standout line, "I do best at doing better, I buy diamonds with the pressure," serves as a direct parallel to Aespa's lemons to lemonade metaphor. Rather than being crushed by industry expectations or media scrutiny, she uses that exact pressure to create wealth and luxury, aka diamonds. Personally, I really enjoyed this version as well. It was fun and a nice change of pace. It's also not lost on me that they had a whole Latina and ningning sung in Spanish. But overall, a great title track. SHAKIN. Up next we have SHAKIN, a fierce high energy dance track about unapologetic confidence and completely dominating the competition. In the opening verse, the members boast that they don't need to try hard or fake anything to stand out. Lines like, quote, "No need to force myself to dress up, just as I am right now, I'm a classic," highlight that their raw identity is already the main attraction. The recurring line, "We bring the juice," serves as a declaration of their status, power, and flavor, tying in the album's name and overall theme. The chorus shifts into a direct warning to their rivals. The repetitive chant, "Watch your throne, the moment you hesitate, I come for you," signals that Aespa is actively stepping up to claim total industry dominance. Additionally, the track plays with the double meaning of shaken. While it refers to making a crowd shake and dance to their beat, it also means making their critics tremble with fear because Aespa is, quote, "so beautiful and 'bout that action." Musically, the song is a hyper-energetic dance and synth-pop track anchored by an aggressive club-ready electronic arrangement. It's heavily driven by a gritty synth bass and a highly addictive hook melody. It blends futuristic elements with a retro groove to create an intense sonic experience. The song for me was good, don't get me wrong, however, it feels like something I've heard before from them. And again, I want to reiterate that it's a good song, but I feel if it would have been either slightly better or different, it could have taken it to the next level. I think part of what's throwing me off is that some of the percussion feels reminiscent of Dirty Work. So mentally, this feels like it would belong on an album with that song, and subconsciously, that's probably hindering my enjoyment of the track if I'm being fully honest. Can't help myself. Speaking of songs that feel like they could go on another mini-album, we have Can't Help Myself, a more edgy, rebellious anthem about self-acceptance and non-conformity. Lyrically, the song features Aespa actively brushing off societal judgments and online criticism, declaring that they love their own chaotic energy and have absolutely no intention of changing who they are. The core theme focuses on dealing with public pushback. In the pre-chorus, the members directly chant, "Yeah, everybody hates, this is my vibe." Instead of being discouraged by negativity, they treat the friction as part of their unique identity. The verses call out people who police how they look or act. Lines like, "So what if I walk a little crooked?" and "So what about my hairstyle however I want?" mock the rigid expectations placed on them. In the chorus, Aespa admits that they actively thrive in chaos, singing, quote, "I can't help myself. I like the rush, I like the thrill, I like the way it makes me feel." They frame their unbothered, rule-breaking attitude as an unstoppable natural impulse. The song culminates in the definitive stance that they are at their best when they ignore outside opinions, quote, "Right now, I feel the most like myself. I know I can't help myself." Musically, it breaks away from Aespa's more typical hyperfuturistic electronic dance sound in favor of a heavier rock-influenced flavor. Distorted, rough electric guitar riffs form the core backbone of the track. A heavy, continuous acoustic or synthesized bass keeps the track's rhythm punchy and grounded. The percussion leans heavily on traditional rock setup, keeping the beat straightforward and energetic. Like I alluded in the beginning of this section, I feel like this one would have fit well into their Rich Man mini-album. The heavier, guitar-centered rock vibe fits really well with those songs. Even still, I really do like it here. It's not really a sound I was expecting from them, and I also really love how they balance the more punchy chorus and verses with a more relaxed and stripped-back pre-chorus. Add the message of the song, and altogether, it was a very solid track. Truly a song I'd love to hear in person, but with a live band. Camouflage. Moving right along, we have Camouflage, a song about emotional self-preservation and cutting ties with toxic relationships. While Can't Help Myself focuses on unapologetic outward confidence, Camouflage explores the internal wall someone builds to protect themselves from getting hurt. The central metaphor of camouflage represents adopting an altered persona or guise to shield one's true feelings from a world or partner that seeks to cause harm. The lyrics present a narrative about breaking free from a deceptive partner. Lines like, "Don't need your maybes, all of your lies," and "I'm not planning to be fooled by you anymore," emphasize a final ironclad resolve to leave toxic ties behind. By pulling back and hiding their true self behind the camouflage, the members reclaim their emotional independence, declaring that they are cutting through the mixed signals to remain completely unshaken. Musically, the track moves away from the guitar-heavy rock of Can't Help Myself and leans deeply into modern electronic music. It's primarily a hyperpop adjacent track with an experimental glitchy rhythm. The production relies heavily on sophisticated dreamy synthesizer melodies designed to replicate the feeling of late-night driving on neon-lit city streets. Personally, this is one of my favorites. The beat and their delivery together make for such an infectious listen. When I played it for the first time, I knew it was going to be one of my standouts, and here we are. It's truly a great driving song. Even ignoring the fact that the lyrics explicitly provide driving imagery, the production does a great job of emulating that feeling with the different textures and sound the track plays with. For me, this one is fighting for top spot. Bite. Changing up the vibe a little, we have Bite, a fierce, aggressive, and highly confident track about shattering boundaries, unleashing internal power, and warning rivals not to cross them. While Camouflage focuses on hiding behind defensive walls, Bite is a total offensive pivot where the group completely breaks out of their cage to confront negativity head on. The opening lyrics instantly establish a sense of confinement being broken, with the members declaring, quote, "Hold me back, I'm about to break the cage." It represents unleashing a raw, unfiltered side that they previously kept hidden. The track highlights a strict refusal to tolerate disrespect or, quote, "play nice" any longer. In the chorus, they deliver an explicit warning to adversaries. "Careful 'cause I bite. Don't mess with me." The second verse shifts into more bragging territory. Lines like, "I'm here to slay, here to conquer, eat 'em up like candy, now they call me Willy Wonka," lean into a playful yet dominant hip-hop energy, showcasing their status and career achievements. Similar to other tracks on the album, they assert total emotional independence by making it clear that external chatter cannot shake them, saying, "No matter what you babble about, I don't care about you." Musically, the song returns to the heavy, hard-hitting electronic dance and hip-hop delivery that Aespa is famous for. The instrumental for Bite matches its aggressive, dark lyrical concept by delivering a challenging and highly experimental electronic and hip-hop production. It relies heavily on distorted, heavy textures to give the track what feels like a sharp, gritty metallic edge. The song honestly surprised me. I'm not a super big fan of these braggy type of tracks, but the pre-chorus really sold me on this one. Plus, the chorus has a really nice bounce to it that makes it easy to bop along to. It genuinely made me feel like I'm in an action movie anytime I listen to it. Truly a surprising hit for me. Switchblade featuring Dolla. Our second feature on the album is Switchblade featuring Dolla. It's an infectious electro dance track about self-improvement and duality. The track uses the metaphor of a folding knife to explore human adaptability, dual nature, and sharp personal transformation. The imagery of a switchblade, hidden one moment, razor sharp the next, represents stepping out of a passive state. The lyrics explicitly say, quote, "The real me that was quietly trapped, I'm setting it free. Set it off, now it's time to slash." The song highlights the ability to flip attitudes instantly to survive different situations. Lines like, "One time got bad, but when I turn around, I become romantic again," and "You love on my sides," focus on being multifaceted and unpredictable. The members send a stern warning to outsiders trying to copy their style or get too close, singing, quote, "Better stay in your lane," and noting that achieving their level of confidence, quote, "ain't for free." Dolla adds a distinct Western hip-hop flavor to the bridge. His verse brings a laid-back, confident energy focused on success and wealth, quote, "Dolla get the money, Dolla get the won," and sharing rewards with his circle, saying, "Dolla break the bread with the squad." The track is anchored in a futuristic, high-tempo electronic dance rhythm built specifically to move crowds. A heavy, continuous electronic sub-bass loop serves as the song's heartbeat, giving it a deep, club-ready vibration. True to Aespa's signature sound, sharp and cutting synth layers are woven throughout the track, mimicking the swift mechanical click of a blade. Similarly to Bite, I was genuinely surprised at how much I like this one. I'm not usually too big on third verse rappers, but I feel the switch up actually works. And I mean switch up in many ways. The feature, the lyrical content, but also the beat. It breaks from the more traditional Aespa digital soundscape for just enough time to feel refreshing without overstaying its welcome or becoming annoying. While I don't love his lyrics, the whole dolla this, dolla that was a bit annoying cause why are you speaking in third person, sir? But when I turn off my brain and just enjoy it, it's a pretty pleasant experience throughout. If I had to complain, it would be the ending. The first few times I heard it, I felt they were setting up for a grand final chorus, but that never comes. They kind of tease you with the build up only to leave you wanting more. But now that I've been listening to it for a while, I kinda just got used to it. Even with all my criticisms, it's still one of my favorites. Roll. I can't say the same for Roll. It's a playful, sassy, and defiant anthem about cutting ties with toxic people, shutting out unprovoked negativity, and reacting with complete indifference. Rather than letting a hater or an ex drain their energy, the members reclaim their peace of mind through heavy sarcasm and unbothered confidence. The core message is built around the hook, quote, "Watch me roll, roll, roll my eyes." Instead of engaging in an argument or feeling hurt, the members dismiss critics with absolute contempt and boredom. The lyrics highlight a strict refusal to stay in a relationship or space that feels exhausting. Lines like, quote, "All you do is bring me down, what a waste of time," emphasize walking out on people who actively try to ruin their happiness. The song stands out for its cheekiness, featuring blunt comedic disses aimed at haters who need a reality check. The group sings, quote, "You need a high five in the face with a chair and get a new life and stop breathing my air." The second verse challenges the idea that they should dial back their personalities to make someone else comfortable, saying, quote, "You think I'm a lot, you can't handle it. All that extra large, more than you can fit." The cadence of the main hook, "Watch me roll, roll, roll my eyes," intentionally mimics the melody of the classic nursery rhyme, "Row, row, row your boat." By flipping an innocent childhood rhythm into a sharp dismissive kiss-off, Aespa highlights the track's playful yet rebellious tone. However, that's precisely my gripe with it. I couldn't get on board with this one. I'm sorry. I just found it to be a bit too juvenile. It feels like something a teenager would write when they're just getting started with music. That's not to say there aren't standouts. I love the pre-chorus and how comedic it is, but when the chorus hits, I also roll, roll, roll my eyes at this song. It's got a good message on paper, but the execution made me wish I could jump off the boat. My Plan. Switching the vibe, we have My Plan, a dark seductive track about calculated manipulation, emotional dominance, and allure. The track flips the script from the defensive stances of earlier B-sides, positioning the members as mastermind puppeteers who are completely in control of a romantic or psychological game. The song opens with the members seeing right through someone's superficial pickup lines and tricks. Instead of walking away, they pretend to be oblivious, saying, quote, "For now, I'll pretend I don't know," while secretly laying their own trap. The lyrics use the bold metaphor of a predator and prey, with the chorus directly highlighting the power dynamic, warning the target, quote, "I'll take everything from you so you lose your mind. You're the victim for the night in my plan." The second pre-chorus highlights how they twist the other person's reality through whispers and moving shadows, saying, "A size whisper shakes up your heart, and vanished silhouette, watch your step, boy," ensuring the target is entirely trapped under their influence. By the end of the song, their trap snaps shut. The lines, "Too late, easy boy sit back, and now I got you under my control," solidify that the entire encounter happened exactly according to their calculated design. Musically, My Plan embraces a sultry mid-tempo electronic synthpop style that matches its calculating narrative. Rather than using the aggressive, high-energy shouting found in Bite, the members use a hushed, whisper-quiet, and highly controlled vocal delivery to entice the listener under their allure. Surprise, surprise, I also really enjoyed this one. The more relaxed, sensual atmosphere really sold it for me. I really like how creepy and eerie it feels at times, combined with the darker textures in the verses. Then the chorus kind of blooms open beautifully, contrasting the lyrics. Another really great standout. Til I Die. Spiritually closing out the album, we have Til I Die, It's a moving anthemic ballad about undying loyalty, mutual support, and standing together through every hardship until the very end. Serving as a heartfelt declaration to Mize and to each other as group members, the track celebrates the deep bonds that keep them grounded. The song reflects on periods of vulnerability and finding comfort in one another. The central hook revolves around an ironclad vow, the members repeatedly saying, "Cross my heart, we'll always be together, till we die, till we die," establishing that their bond is permanent and unconditional. The lyrics look forward to the future with absolute fearlessness. Even when facing steep uphill battles, they promise to hold hands and run forward, knowing that when they look back later, those massive struggles will seem like tiny specks, saying, quote, "That steep hill ahead, even if we fall down again and again, I want to go there with you." There's a strong message of living in the moment without regrets. Lines like "bet on this moment that will never come again" emphasize giving their all to their shared journey, even if they have to keep living till we crash and burn. Musically, the song provides a crucial emotional rest, offering a dark contrast to the rest of the record. The track strips away the aggressive electronic dance music armor and heavy sub-bass that dominates tracks like Bite or Switchblade. Instead, it leans into a warm, softer pop rock ballad sound. The instrumental relies heavily on bright guitar-driven arrangements that build a rich and comforting atmosphere. Rather than rapid-fire rap cadences, the song showcases Aespa's complex vocal harmonies. The members' voices blend tightly together during the chorus to emphasize the theme of absolute unity. Personally, this song felt really nostalgic. The message and overall vibe made me a little emotional when I think back to almost 6 years ago when they debuted. It truly felt like it's gone in the blink of an eye, and this song serving as a promise to themselves and fans really helped boost it in my rankings. As an album closer, I feel it works great. It wraps everything up and even lets you imagine their future. Final album thoughts. Overall, Lemonade feels like Aespa rediscovering what made me fall in love with them in the first place. Over the last few releases, I've been pretty vocal about feeling disconnected from some of their musical choices. It wasn't that the songs were objectively bad, they just didn't hit me the same way projects like Savage, My World, or even parts of Armageddon did. There were moments where it felt like Aespa was searching for a new direction, experimenting with different sounds and concepts, and while I can appreciate that from an artistic standpoint, not every experiment landed for me personally, and that's perfectly fine. But that's why Lemonade was such a pleasant surprise for me. What I think this album does exceptionally well is balance the two sides of Aespa that have always worked best together. On one side, you have the confident, larger-than-life Aespa that dominates tracks like Lemonade, Bite, SHAKIN, and Switchblade. The group that's completely aware of their status and isn't afraid to remind you of it. But on the other side, you have songs like Camouflage, My Plan, and Til We Die that bring a little more nuance and personality to the project. They aren't just flexing for 30 minutes straight. There's vulnerability, reflection, and emotion woven throughout the album. Lyrically, the project feels incredibly cohesive. Nearly every track, regardless of whether it's about criticism, toxic relationships, self-confidence, or loyalty, circles back to the same core idea: taking whatever pressure life throws at you and transforming it into something useful, which, fittingly, is the exact message of the title track. The lemons into lemonade metaphor might be simple, but it ends up becoming the foundation of the entire record. Musically, this feels much closer to the Aespa I personally enjoy. The album leans heavily into aggressive electronic production, club-ready beats, and those signature Aespa vocal performances without feeling like it's simply trying to recreate past successes. It feels familiar without feeling stale. Of course, I don't think the album is perfect. There are still a few tracks that didn't fully connect with me. Roll is probably the biggest example. Some songs also feel like they could have fit on previous projects rather than this one specifically, but unlike some of their recent releases where I found myself focusing on what wasn't working, Lemonade had me focusing on what was. And honestly, that's probably the biggest compliment I can give it. For the first time in a while, I wasn't listening to an Aespa project wondering where they were going. I was listening and thinking, yeah, this feels right. It feels like a return to form. Not because they're repeating themselves, but because they've remembered how to combine their confidence, experimental production, attitude, and storytelling into something that feels uniquely Aespa. The result is an album that's fun, confident, occasionally messy, but ultimately quite enjoyable. If Armageddon felt like Aespa standing at the top of the mountain and declaring their dominance, Lemonade feels like them settling into that position comfortably, less concerned with proving themselves and more focused on enjoying the view. and after spending the last few weeks with this album, I have to admit, I enjoyed the view too. But that's all I have for you guys today. Thank you guys so very much for watching. Remember to like, comment, share, and subscribe. Click that bell icon so you're notified every time I post a video. Tell me in the comments down below, which song was your favorite? Mine is ever changing, but for the summer vibe right now, I'm really feeling Lemonade or Camouflage. Remember that I love you all so much, and I'll see you guys on Wednesday. Bye!